What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Football Diary, talking about the current stories in the NFL on the weekdays and the historic NFL things on the weekends. It's a weekday, and we have current NFL content. Before we get into this video, I just want to say I apologize, or we apologize. It's Matt's video. Matt is in the process of moving, so if it does buffer or anything like that, we'll get through it. It typically maybe less than a second, typically. So we apologize if that does happen during this recording, but the show must go on, so we're going to record. And hopefully it all works out. Hopefully there's no buffers. But if you did not know, Aaron Rodgers, the biggest mystery in the NFL this offseason, what is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? Will he be the host of Jeopardy? Will he be the quarterback for the Packers? Will he, I don't know, retire and then come back like Brett Favre and play for the Chicago Bears? Everything was discussed. What could happen with Aaron Rodgers? The news has come out. Aaron Rodgers, the bad man himself, he posted yesterday, I believe on Instagram, he and Davante Adams, they both posted pictures of Michael and Scotty. Reference to The Last Dance. And everybody thought yesterday was like, oh, wow, is he really going to come back? Today, negotiated with the Green Bay Packers. They voided out the remaining years on his contract other than this season. And so this will be Aaron Rodgers' last dance in Green Bay. Now, Matt, what are your thoughts on this entire situation for the Packers organization and Aaron Rodgers himself? What are you thinking?
Well, I was definitely really surprised when this news came out. The Last Dance reference obviously happened a couple days ago now, but I was very surprised. I didn't think he was going to be playing. You've thought he was going to be the host of Jeopardy for months now, I want to say. And so I think both of us were a little bit surprised by this. I think a lot of people in the NFL didn't think he was going to come back. Was it Gronk that was talking about it? And he's like, oh, yeah, Rodgers isn't in playing shape, or he said something like that on the golf course. Everything's kind of been pointing to that he's done. And so he comes back, basically says, I'm coming back for one final season. Now, if you're a Packers fan, you are probably ecstatic because that is the difference of competing and not competing. So it's drastic for the Green Bay Packers. It really helps me out in fantasy football. I have not Aaron Rodgers, but I have Davante Adams in multiple leagues. So let me tell you, this is a big win for him. Kind of interested to see what happens with Adams. I do think that it's pretty clear that it's Rodgers' final season in the NFL and final season with the Green Bay Packers. But wonder what's going to happen with Davante Adams, because it does seem like it's going to be his final season as a Packer. I believe he's a free agent after this year. So maybe he's just completely done with the organization. I think there's a good chance that that's the case. But I'm excited. It's always fun to watch the NFL. It's more fun to watch the NFL when Aaron Rodgers is playing. So I definitely like it. And if you're a Packers fan, you are probably so happy right now because they do have a legit chance to, make that Super Bowl run. And they've been pretty close the last couple of years, but haven't quite got there. I think it pushes them to be one of the top 4 teams in the NFC. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, this Packers team, it's going to be very exciting to watch. I mean, if you look at it, they were a Kevin King away from being in the Super Bowl last year. He does not play in that game. I believe he allowed 3 touchdowns resulted of him. And he was the one that had the pass interference late in the game. That was, resulted in another Buccaneers touchdown. Like a very horrible game from Kevin King. But other than that, that team was very, very good. Probably the best offense in the NFL last year. Rodgers may have been the best quarterback in the NFL last year. Obviously, he won the MVP. Davante Adams had one of the most ridiculous seasons I've ever seen. He didn't get to play in every game, but if he had, there was a chance he could have been breaking some records, some Calvin Johnson records, some single-season touchdown records. Like, that's how good he was last season. And he is Rodgers' guy. And, when Rodgers kind of went down and, Davante Adams was like, no, that's my guy. Like, I want to be with him. And that's very unfortunate that we may not get to see that duo really anymore after this season, because I highly doubt that Rodgers and Davante Adams would even be able to go to the same team, because what team other than like the Jets would be able to have the salary cap space to sign both of those players? And we all know the Jets have Zach Wilson. So overall, it's a very interesting situation, but I would agree, Matt. I think they're definitely in the top 4 in the NFC. I think they're definitely the best team in the NFC North, which is the biggest thing when you're trying to get to the playoffs. Now, I do like the Vikings. I do like the Bears. But Rodgers, I'm sorry, Bears fans, he owns the Bears. Rodgers doesn't lose to the Bears. It's absolutely remarkable to watch him every single time he plays the Bears just go absolutely crazy. But overall, Matt, you said it right. I did think he was going to become the host of Jeopardy. I was really banking on it when I first saw that, he was kind of disgruntled with the Packers. I was like, you know what? I think he's going to retire. It was just after he had hosted Jeopardy. And I was like, you know what? This could really be Rodgers' job. And, overall, I think the NFL is very excited to see him come back. I think Davante Adams is excited to see him come back. But it's very intriguing because what does it mean for Jordan Love? You know, he's not going to have very much time on his rookie deal. He's only going to have about 2 years and then a team option on his rookie deal that he signed. So is he going to be able to play? And he's going to lose Davante Adams. So his wide receivers are not going to be the best in the NFL. Like he's not coming into a situation like Rodgers did when he was, coming in for Brett Favre, where he actually got a relatively good team. They may not have Aaron Jones. They may not have, obviously Davante Adams, and their wide receiver will be Alan Lazard, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and they did draft Amari Rodgers, who does have a lot of potential as a wide receiver. So don't count him out. But this is very interesting. It's like a major win now move for the Packers, not because they wanted to make it, because they were forced into making the win now move. Otherwise, I fully expect Davante Adams would have re-signed if Rodgers wasn't disgruntled, and they could be a team trying to contend for years to come. But now it's like this is the last chance, and that's why it's so perfect for The Last Dance, because we know that this team is breaking up. If you guys didn't see, David Bakhtiari tweeted out, after the reports were like, people close to Aaron Rodgers have been told that he plans to play one more year. And David Bakhtiari was like, so we're not close? Like, I've been your offensive tackle for years. And like, you didn't tell me, just all that type of stuff is happening. The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, he wasn't going to be there. Phil Jackson was going to be gone. And everyone's like, it's all falling apart. Let's do it one more time, and let's try and get there. Now, the difference is they're not coming off of 2 back-to-back championships, but they are coming back off of 2 back-to-back NFC championship games. And that's really big. I think they actually can get to the Super Bowl. Whether or not they will, got a lot of season to play, a lot of off-season to go, and we'll see about that. But this is very exciting, not just as a football fan, not just as a fan of Aaron Rodgers, but just as a fan of sports. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is one of the biggest names. As a Ravens fan, it's kind of unfortunate because the Ravens played the Packers late in the year. I was kind of hoping for the freebie win because the last time the Ravens played the Packers, Rodgers didn't play. It was very, very easy. But I'm very excited to watch this. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, Matt, what do you have to add?
The only thing I'd add besides that is, where do you see them ranking among the NFC teams? And I'll go after you, but where do you have them now?
I think that I have them as a clear top 3 team. I think I have them above the Buccaneers, actually. Like I said, they were a Kevin King away from beating the Buccaneers last year. It was just horrible. And a field goal, could have potentially changed the dynamic. And we'll never know. That's not something you can say, oh, they guaranteed would have won if they hadn't kicked the field goal, if they had gone for it. But overall, I can't put them ahead of the 49ers just because of when the 49ers have been healthy, they've decimated the Packers. They weren't healthy last year when they played them. So that's not something to look at like, oh, but they beat them last time. No.
Real quick, saying they had like multiple, like so many players out with COVID. It was like not healthy. They had not even close to their normal roster at all.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate. And then the other team that I would say, I would throw the Rams in there. Matthew Stafford, joining in that team. I think that they could be pretty good, but that's a big wild card. I would put the Packers 2 or 3. We're really yet to see the Rams and what they can do with Stafford and how well he works in that system. But, just purely off of talent alone on that team, I'm going to put him at 2. But I think absolutely the Packers should be top 3. I would put them over the Bucs. But I can see if you want to put the Packers at 4 behind the Bucs and those other teams. But, Matt, where do you have them?
I have them at 4.
Behind the same teams?
Yeah, I would probably go Bucs, Rams, 49ers, Packers. But that's like my tier 1 group in the NFC. Yeah. Like those are the 4 teams that I think are going into the year, so preseason, because once the year starts, you'll see, oh, look at this guy. He's completely emerged. He's, become a great player. Maybe that's Sam Darnold. Maybe that's Jameis Winston this year. Like, there's some teams where, especially the Saints, are really intriguing, where it's like, okay, well, what about this guy? Like, there's a lot banking on a guy, and you don't really know. But I think those are those 4 Super Bowl contending teams in the NFC. And for the 49ers, if you want to look back in the 49ers and say, oh, they were really bad last year, like, yeah, they had Nick Mullins starting. They didn't have Nick Bosa. Like, this is a completely different team. And if you want to look back at that 2019 offense for the 49ers, this year's offense, and this is even if Trey Lance does not start a single game, is much, much better than that 2019 offense was. Like, the offensive lines are not comparable. Like, this team will be a lot better. Now, the defense won't be as good, but the offense on the Niners end will be really good. Definitely some question marks on the Rams. Just lost Cam Akers, but I still really think that going from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford, that's the biggest quarterback jump, right, in the NFL this year? Don't you think? I mean, you could do Trevor Lawrence on the Jags too, but they're not.
Don't insult
not
Gardner Minshew like that.
Well, Gardner didn't even play though. That's the thing. Like, so like I think that's probably the biggest quarterback jump for any team. So I definitely have to include the Rams ahead of them. But like I said, this is really small. Like, the difference in my mind of all these teams is really narrow. Like, they're all really, really good, and they all have a legit chance. And I mean, any given Sunday in the playoffs where any of these teams could be in a Super Bowl, in my opinion, and maybe other teams will emerge as well. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're watching it at this point still, make sure to comment, where you think the Packers rank in the NFC, what your thoughts are on the Aaron Rodgers situation, on the Packers situation, even on the Davante Adams situation. This is really fun time of year. Training camp is just starting up. Matt was actually at Cowboys training camp yesterday, so that was pretty cool. We got to see NFL legend Simi Fehoko, things like that. If you don't know, he's my guy. Simi Fehoko has been my guy ever since I started scouting for the Ravens. And overall, make sure that subscribe button down below to see all that extra content. Make sure to follow our TikTok. We're answering a lot of much smaller questions on there, so make sure to go check that out. It's at the FB Diary. Go check it out if you're on TikTok. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see all of you again tomorrow with another current NFL topic.